Hello, welcome to the first in what we hope will be a series of interviews that we're calling informally Spotlight on the Candidates. We'll be interviewing candidates, in my case, with those who are running for office in Berkeley Heights, which is where I live. My name is Bill Bennett. I'll be your host today, and we're pleased to have in the studio with us John Bonacci. John is familiar to those who have been following Berkeley Heights politics for a little while, but we know that there are some of you who are watching who are not familiar with the local politics. You may have just moved into town, or you may have just decided to pay more attention. So this next 30 minutes is for you to get to know John, his points of view, a little bit about him as a person, his views of what the important issues are for those of us who live in Berkeley Heights, and his positions on those issues, and ultimately why John would like you to consider voting for him. John is running as an independent for mayor of Berkeley Heights. John, welcome.
Thank you, Bill.
Or perhaps I should say welcome back.
Yes, that's
John
right.
and I have sat, not exactly in these seats, but on this set in this studio before when John and Jerry Nelson were running for town council in Berkeley Heights just not that long ago.
That's right, 3 years ago.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like 3 years can have passed, does it?
And 2 years also.
Yeah.
That was...
So let's get a little bit of context for the voters. There's some who may either only know you slightly or not even know you at all. And let me ask you to start, John, by just telling us a little bit about yourself, or just a few minutes of biographical sketch of John Bonacci, if you would.
Well, thank you, Bill, very much. I'm pleased to be here again, and I'm without Jerry this time because it's a solo position, but we did it twice together with you, and once I did it alone when he couldn't make it. So you had us before we ran, after we ran, and won, and after 1 year. So some people may know something about me, but we have constantly influx of people into Berkeley Heights. So I'm glad to say a little bit. On the personal, very personal side, my wife Annette and I have been in Berkeley Heights for 33 years, and I commuted here working for Engelhard Industries in Mountain Avenue for about 2.5 years or so before that. So we've been around. We have 2 daughters and their husbands, and they live within 20 minutes. One is in Berkeley Heights. She's my campaign manager and a lawyer. The other one's in Westfield with the 2 grandchildren. And you know, we are family. There's a primary 8 here because the basic family is in New York and Florida, and I'm the son of an immigrant who's long since passed on. But we spend weekends together. We do about 2 vacations a year. We've been to Italy, France, and recently Hawaii. So it's very family-oriented, our primary 8, and much for the other time with Utica, New York relatives and Florida ones when there's a death, a birth, a christening, etc. So, so much for the family. In the education area, I have more education than I need for this job, I'm sure. But I have a BS, MS from Clarkson College up in New York State. I have a PhD from the University of Pennsylvania, a scientist and engineer. I have a PE license. I have a license to practice patent law as a patent agent. I've had numerous awards from the college and from the professional society, so my education is round out that way. In the work area, I had the pleasure of working for 2 of what was in their time and still are 5 best managed companies in the United States and international, DuPont and Mobil Oil, which is now ExxonMobil. And I also received training at the U.S. Air Force, although I'm not a veteran. I was a private employee, and worked for Engelhard Industries here as a vice president and executive. And my work product is, you know, 101 global patents, publication of a chapter in an environmental magazine. For the last few years, although consumed with politics, I've been the president and past president of the American Society of Chemists and Chemical Engineers locally in New York. And I've had a leadership role in that organization and with the companies I worked for. I'm very pleased about my teaching experience. It's been as an adjunct at Rutgers and Stevens for 3 or 4 years each, and once an actual visiting professorship at Rutgers. and so at the college and the university level. So I think I know something about education, and I've been involved in adult education too for 8 or 9 years in a professional society, you know, picking the other professors, helping them schedule it, figure out what they're going to say, think of what's timely. In the civic area, I belong to the Knights of Columbus and do some charity work. I belong to the Old Guard of Summit, a men's club of professionals from largely a lot of Bell Labs people and great speakers and activities. And I've been a band parent at the high school for 11 years, since my daughter's now out of there. And I do a variety of things of that nature.